While your hometown burns and floods, Republicans just handed $40 billion of your money to fossil fuel companies. And they're calling clean energy the real subsidy problem. Let me show you the receipt. Hey everyone, welcome back to Politics Tribune. What I'm about to show you is going to make you furious. While extreme weather is literally reshaping America, while people are losing their homes to floods and wildfires, the Trump administration just quietly handed $40 billion in new subsidies to the fossil fuel industry. $40 billion of your tax money going to oil, gas, and coal companies that are destroying our planet. And they're doing it while attacking clean energy as wasteful subsidies. The hypocrisy is so blatant, it's almost hard to believe. Hit that subscribe button because we're about to expose one of the biggest scams in American politics. According to a report released this week, the Trump administration has added nearly $40 billion in new federal subsidies for oil, gas, and coal in 2025. That's not total subsidies. That's new subsidies added this year alone. These subsidies will send an additional $4 billion out the door each year for the next decade. We're talking about ExxonMobil, Chevron, Shell, BP, companies that made record profits while contributing to the climate crisis killing people across America. Think about what $4 billion a year could do. Hire 50,000 new teachers annually. Provide health insurance for millions of uninsured Americans. Fund renewable energy that would actually create jobs and reduce emissions. But instead, we're giving it to fossil fuel companies that don't need it and are actively harming our planet. That $40 billion is just the tip of the iceberg. The United States spends between $17 and $35 billion per year in direct federal subsidies to fossil fuels. But that's a massive undercount. When oil companies pollute the air and people get asthma, who pays for health care? We do. When coal plants dump mercury and children develop neurological problems, who pays? We do. When climate disasters destroy billions in property, who pays? Not the fossil fuel companies that caused the crisis. We do. The International Monetary Fund estimates that when you include all these costs, health impacts, environmental damage, climate disasters, global fossil fuel subsidies total $757 billion annually. In the United States alone, we're talking about hundreds of billions. Republicans say we can't afford health care for all Americans. Can't afford free public college. Can't afford to address child poverty. But somehow, we can afford to subsidize fossil fuel companies hundreds of billions per year while they destroy our planet. Here's where it gets truly insane. Project 2025 repeatedly calls for ending Biden's war on fossil fuels and accuses his administration of wasting hundreds of billions of dollars in subsidies on unreliable renewables. They're accusing clean energy of being the subsidy problem while simultaneously funneling tens of billions to fossil fuel companies. This is gaslighting on an industrial scale. The Inflation Reduction Act included investments in clean energy projected to create 1.7 million jobs by 2030 while reducing emissions. Meanwhile, fossil fuel subsidies create almost no new jobs and actively worsen climate change. But according to Republicans, clean energy is the problem. It would be laughable if it weren't so dangerous. Let's talk about what's happening while Republicans funnel billions to big oil. This past summer, a majority of Americans experienced an extreme heat wave with record-breaking temperatures in New York, D.C., and Philadelphia. According to the World Weather Attribution Report, there were approximately 41 more extreme heat days in 2024 than there would have been without climate change. In late June 2025, heavy rainfall swept across Colombia and Venezuela, causing catastrophic flooding. Climate scientists confirmed that climate change made this rainfall more intense and more likely. Deadly wildfires in Turkey, Cyprus, and Greece were made 10 times more likely due to climate change. This isn't theoretical. This is happening now. People are dying. Communities are being destroyed. And Republicans are giving billions to the companies most responsible. Internal documents from ExxonMobil show the company's own scientists warned executives about climate change in the 1970s. Their research was accurate. They knew fossil fuel use was warming the planet and would cause catastrophic consequences. What did ExxonMobil do? They launched a decades-long campaign to deceive the public. They funded climate denial. They paid scientists to cast doubt on the consensus. They lobbied to block climate legislation. This is documented fact. It's the tobacco playbook. Know your product kills people. Lie about it for decades and block regulations to protect profits. Why do Republicans defend this? Simple. Money. The fossil fuel industry is one of the largest sources of campaign contributions to Republican politicians. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse said it perfectly. Fossil fuel-funded Republicans enjoy the biggest subsidy in world history. When you see a Republican denying climate change or defending fossil fuel subsidies, check how much money they've received from the oil and gas industry. In almost every case, the answer is a lot. Republicans claim fossil fuels are about American jobs and energy independence. Both arguments are nonsense. The fossil fuel industry employs only a few 100,000 workers nationally, less than renewable energy already employs. Clean energy is creating jobs far faster. Wind turbine technician and solar installer are among the fastest-growing occupations in America. Energy independence? Oil and gas are traded on global markets. American companies sell to whoever pays most, anywhere in the world. Renewable energy is genuinely local. The sun and wind can't be exported. The only economic argument for fossil fuel subsidies is if you only care about fossil fuel company profits, which is exactly what Republican politicians care about. Republicans claim renewable energy is unreliable and can't power modern civilization. This is completely false. Denmark gets over 80% of electricity from wind and solar. Costa Rica runs on nearly 100% renewable electricity. California regularly gets over 50% from renewables during peak hours. Study after study shows the U.S. could run on 100% clean energy with current technology. It's not a technical problem, it's a political problem. The fossil fuel industry spreads misinformation about reliability because clean energy threatens their business model. When Democrats propose tax credits for electric vehicles or solar panels, Republicans scream about government picking winners and losers. When Democrats suggest ending fossil fuel subsidies that have existed for decades, Republicans claim it would destroy the economy. If Republicans actually believed in free markets, they'd eliminate fossil fuel subsidies. If oil and gas are such wonderful energy sources, they shouldn't need tens of billions in taxpayer support, right? Meanwhile, solar and wind are now the cheapest sources of new electricity in most of the U.S. electric vehicles are approaching price parity with gas cars. If there was a true free market, if fossil fuel companies paid for their pollution, renewables would dominate completely. $40 billion in new subsidies for fossil fuels. $4 billion per year for the next decade. While Americans suffer through unprecedented extreme weather, this is your money, our future, being sacrificed to protect fossil fuel profits. The hypocrisy of Republicans attacking clean energy as subsidies while defending hundreds of billions in fossil fuel subsidies is breathtaking. It's projection, it's corruption, and it's destroying our planet. Future generations will ask why we knew about climate change and chose to subsidize the industries causing it. They'll ask why we let wealthy executives and corrupt politicians steal their future. The fossil fuel subsidy scam, is one of the greatest betrayals in American history. We're literally paying companies to destroy our planet, and Republicans are celebrating it. This has to stop. Subscribe to this channel. Share this video. Contact your representatives and demand they end subsidies for oil companies and invest in clean energy. Vote in every election like our future depends on it, because it does. Thanks for watching Politics Tribune. Keep fighting for our planet, because nobody else is going to do it for us.